Hey everyone, I am Artosis next to Doa, and we're back with another King of the Hill, Savjz, our four-time champion, going up against one of the most popular streamers in Hearthstone, and a very good player in his own right, Trump.
It's pretty insane, actually, that Savjz has been able to win 4 times around the King of the Hill. Like, before that, keep in mind, guys, we had a new winner every single week. Nobody was able to get 2 wins, let alone 4 in a row. So, pretty crazy that he's gotten this far. Trump is going to be a really interesting opponent for him, I think, because Trump, you know, mostly known as an arena player, good and constructed too, but definitely a lot less constructed experience than Savjz has. I think it's going to be a really good match. But
I think so too, and you know, they both represent like the 2 biggest teams, I guess, for constructed decks. Trump is part of that big North American team. Savjz is part of Doggy House. So they're both going to have some very nice decks, and they both obviously know how to play the game extremely well. I don't know, but I have to agree with you a little bit. Trump, he's seen more as an arena player. Generally, I think it's going to be kind of hard for him to beat Savjz.
I agree, but I like that you mentioned the teams that they're kind of a part of, and we say team kind of in an unofficial sense because Trump is obviously like Team Razor by himself, kind of. And
that's true.
Then in NA, you've got other players like Crip and Strife Crow, who's constantly #1 on the NA ladder. And then you've got Savjz, who has the support of the Doge House, right? Players like Nimsh, Ecop. So you've got these players that have really strong backings to them, too. They've got people helping them out with these decks. And we've also got 2 different regions, too. So I think the style of the decks we're going to see is going to clash really nicely. I think this is actually like one of the matches I've been most excited about to cast.
Yeah, I've been waiting for Trump to play in this for a long time, and since Savjz is 4 wins in a row, it should be a great match. So
it's time.
Let's talk about these decks that they're actually using. It looks like Trump is going to start out with Rogue. No huge surprise there. Rogue very strong at the moment. And then, of course, one of the very top tier decks, Druid from Savjz going up against him.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Druid Control is like one of the most like top stable decks you can really play in Hearthstone. It's tearing up the ladder. It's just safe. You know, I mean, it does have its counters here and there, but it's generally just good against most stuff you're going to see. Now, Trump's deck, Rogue deck, also a deck that's very good against most stuff. You know, just a good, basic Rogue deck. I mean, it's solid. What can you say? So, 2 great first deck choices, I think you can say about this.
Indeed. We're going to see a lot of card advantage out of both of them. What will the Rogue start be like? Because if it's a little bit slow, then Druid can get out of hand in the late game.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, that's kind of the big weakness for Trump, is that he has a slow start, right? Whereas the weakness for Savjz is that he's not able to kind of maintain that control in sort of the early to mid game. And if he can't do that, then it doesn't really matter when he's bringing it out in the end, because he's already going to be too low to kind of survive it. So it's going to be, I mean, like most games, the early game's going to decide a lot, but I think it's a little bit more crucial for Trump to get that fast start.
I have to agree with you. Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the first game. Alright, so here we go. Trump on the bottom, and he will be at the bottom for the whole time. Savjz up on the top, and taking a look at these opening hands, Trump gets the coin, which is awesome for Rogue, makes him way better. The hand for Savjz, not too bad. A Wrath.
No, I'll take it.
And the Keeper is, it's not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, that Keeper of the Grove just adds so much utility to Druid. I mean, the damage, the silence, getting a 2/4 on the board. And you and I were talking about this earlier. It really is kind of difficult to choose when and how to use that guy. He's a really fun card because you have to make a lot of like crazy choices with him.
Well, he's played a Blood Mage Thanos, which actually I don't normally play.
That's a surprising turn 1, yeah.
I like to save him for late game personally, but Savjz is a very good player, has his reasons. The thing is, are we going to see a coin into SI7 age? And I feel like that might be what we're going to see. And personally, I played a lot of Druid against Rogue, and I avoid playing any minions for the first 3 turns to avoid exactly this situation.
Yeah, I suppose you could look at it from the way that he did draw the card off it, and also you're going to get to the point where you want the Rogue to use as much removal as early as possible, because then when your big stuff starts to hit, they have no way to like combo it down, you know? Suddenly like 4 damage from Eviscerate isn't a big deal if they have no follow-up to it. So I actually kind of like that decision.
Okay. Yeah. Well, here we go. He actually chooses the Wrath to get rid of it when he did have the Claw plus Hero Power ability, which is fine. And we have Trump going with a Harvest Golem, just pretty solid play there.
Oh yeah, there's never anything wrong with just dropping a Harvest Golem, man. It is a solid card. And will we see it get silenced here, possibly, by the Keeper of the Grove, or we'll maybe see his own Harvest Golem. That's not a bad play either.
Yeah,
there we go.
yeah, I think that's a good play. For Trump, I would say probably give your guy. You could do Deadly Poison here, or you could do Dark Iron. Both are okay.
Yeah, I
think I like Deadly Poison, maybe.
I kind of like Dark Iron a little bit better, honestly, because it gets you a 4/4 on the board, and I feel like getting against Druid, you want to be able to get consistent damage out there as fast as possible, and you need minions on the board to do that. Yeah, he's gonna go for it. That's a good idea.
The only thing that gets me about this is he's gonna completely lose his Golem.
Oh wow, he goes for the face. Interesting.
Okay, a very aggressive stance here, which is actually fine as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that actually, because he knows what's coming. He knows that big minions are on the way, and he needs to kind of zerg down Savjz as fast as he can.
That actually makes perfect sense, because if he attacks into the Golem, then it's easy for him to lose his Golem. But right now, how do you kill that? That's going to be very annoying.
Well, you can silence it. That helps, I guess. But like, here's the thing: is that we're like conditioned right now to be playing this mid-range control style, right? Where you need to control the minions on the board. Really, that needs to be your priority. And now we're moving into this control versus hyper aggro kind of phase, and so you don't always need to kill all the minions on the board. So we've had to kind of like change our way of thinking about the game lately. It's been interesting to kind of adjust that way, and I think Trump's made a good adjustment here.
Yeah, certainly. And let's take a look at his hand now, right? He has a lot of options here. Does he play the board control? Does he continue to attack? Does he play Sylvanas here? Does he just draw a card off of the Novice and see what else there is to do? You know, he does have the Edwin, of course, as well.
I mean, you've got a couple options here. I mean, you can go Novice Engineer into, well, I would maybe go into the Novice Engineer into maybe Deadly Poison on my weapon and then just do some damage, but he's
actually like
this Sylvanas. All right, cool.
You know what? If he was already going to not play board control, he may as well continue to attack. It's going to be hard to take care of this Dark Iron. Get the Sylvanas out. It's a good position that he's in, and now there's hard choices for Savjz.
Well, Savjz, you know, he's got Faceless. He can always Faceless Sylvanas. He's got the Silence from Keeper of the Grove, so he does have some ways to handle this. We'll see what he does. I mean, he's also got that Healing Touch. I mean, this may be a turn where you just drop Healing Touch and drop a Harvest Golem, and I don't know. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
You know, I feel like he has to do something about this board position, and I don't like any of his choices. Like, if he faces this, then
it's a tough spot for him to be in, no doubt.
If he faces this, he's taking 9 next turn, right?
Yeah. I mean, one thing he could do is he could Keeper for 2 damage on the Dark Iron and then finish it off with his own Watcher, and then just have another minion. Just not really have a lot of good cards for Sylvanas to take, but okay.
Oh, well, he's going to take 5 here, and the thing is he's going to lose his Harvest Golem as well.
Yeah, it's... I don't know.
But he can use Keeper to get rid of that. It looks, though, like we're just going to see a Harvest Golem of his own.
Okay. And there we go. So Sylvanas actually apparently does not steal that Golem if she dies. Yeah. Well, I guess the Golem comes into play after Sylvanas' death is finished.
Oh my god,
so that's actually really smart.
I've had this exact scenario where it steals my damaged Golem. Oh my god, thank you, Savjz, for teaching me something I had no idea.
That's the thing. That's one of the things about Hearthstone is you never quite know how the game is going to react to different things. But apparently, the Golem death rattle happens after the Sylvanas death rattle.
Because
we saw that, right?
He finished it with the Harvest Golem.
Yeah,
okay. Well, let's go back and commentate. This is a great thing to know, though.
I like that. Yeah. All right. Cool.
So okay.
Very cool.
Trump here. He has a lot of options to do. This is one of the cool things about Rogue, and Savjz has said recently in an interview, and I have to agree with him. Rogue is really fun to play because you'll have so many ways to deal with the board position in your hand, and which one do you want to use? Like, he can get rid of these Golems. He can use a Deadly Poison. He can try to go for a big Van Cleef right now. You know, he can SI 7-age now. What does he want to do?
Well, he's certainly got a lot of mana. I mean, I always like playing the Novice Engineers. I always prioritize playing them because you never know with Rogue when you're going to draw Backstab, and that just makes your hand that much easier to use, and it makes that Van Cleef so much bigger. So based on the Van Cleef in his hand, I would go for the Novice Engineer. And okay, he is going to do that. If he draws a Backstab, not quite, but
he can go Argent and then Van Cleef, and that's huge.
Oh, yeah.
That's +4 to him, so that'd be a 6/6 Van Cleef this turn if he likes.
And there's...
That would be something that's kind of hard to take care of. But looking at Savjz's hand, he could do something like Silence it.
Yeah, I mean, Savjz has answers to it, but of course Trump has no idea, you know, what's in Savjz's hands. So I like your idea. I like Squire into Van Cleef just to get something big on the board. I mean, we could see something like SI7 agent come out this turn as well, just to kind of clear it a little bit, because honestly, Trump should be a little bit worried leaving stuff, and he's going to go for Van Cleef. All right, so yeah, just going for the big creature, going for the face.
I think that's good. Just throw down that 6/6. There's so much to deal with right now.
Yeah.
And looking at what Savjz has, let's see what card he draws here. Okay, a swipe.
Oh, man,
that's a good draw.
That's a pretty freaking good draw for Savjz, yeah.
It's quite nice. The thing is, he has 7 mana. If he had 8, he could do a wonderful turn here.
Yeah.
Thing is, at 7, he can't quite get rid of both the big guys.
Yeah.
Like he can get rid of one of them and get the other one down to like 1 health, but that's it. So, what do you do here with this?
Is he gonna? Okay, well, I mean, he could finish him off with a Keeper of the Grove too. That's the thing. It's like if he attacks for 4 damage on a Van Cleef with his minions and then keepers it, but that would leave him in a really bad board spot.
Well, he can get it down to just the 4/4 with the usage of hero ability plus swipe plus attacking with damage golem into Van Cleef. So I think that's what he's going to do here is just bring it down to the Dark Iron, but still
makes sense, yeah.
That's still 4 damage on the board against a rogue player who's going to have eviscerates, deadly poisons, and in fact, Trump has both those in his hand.
The Dark Iron's still going to be there, man. I mean, it's going to be tough. We are going to see that swipe on Van Cleef, and you know he'll be able to finish off the Squire with his hero ability if he wants to.
I think for sure he's going to finish these guys off. Oh, he's actually going to go for the 4/4.
Okay.
Is he?
Or is he?
Yeah, it looks like he's thinking about it.
No. Okay.
Alright, yeah, and he's going to clear the 1/1s.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. We actually can see in hand right now. This is 8. Okay, that's death.
That's death, yeah.
That's the kill move right there. He has more than enough damage. That's 8, 9, 10.
Let's see,
11. Yeah, he's got
plenty,
enough damage to kill him. So
he's got plenty.
Trump is just adding up right now, double, triple adding.
Yep.
Every time I have lethal unexpectedly, I do this as well, where I just count it over and over and over. I'm like, okay, right.
You gotta think. You're like, wait, can I actually just kill him this turn? And then you have to do the math very carefully. And if you're anything like me, you're terrible at math, so it does take like almost a full turn to figure it out. But,
I think we've shown plenty of times our lack of math skills while trying to cast.
I think so too. I'm tempted to try like right now, but I'm like, no, I'm just gonna wait for Trump to do it. Like that Doa sense, you know, he's got the damage. There we go. Yeah, deadly poison. Wonderful 5 damage weapon.
Yeah.
And so between
5,
eviscerate and
oh wait, he doesn't.
Oh wait.
Okay, I actually missed.
Oh, we're terrible at math.
If he had eviscerated, he'd be down at 1 health.
That's true, yeah. But he's saving that eviscerate for next turn just to make sure he can get it off with the swamp ooze.
Wow,
even
I can't
with the 1 armor.
Well, we were talking about how bad we were at math.
I know,
and I looked at that and I was completely sure he had exactly 14, but actually he had 13.
We are so bad at math.
Sick moves, Artosis.
See, that's why. See, we took a step in the right direction there, though, where we didn't try to do it, but next time we have to just not talk about it.
Yeah, we need to just shut our mouths.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's going to be able to ping something down and kill it with a golem. So he's going to live a little bit. No, I think there's still... Yeah, because he has Eviscerate in hand, so that's 9 on board.
Yeah.
There's just 9 on board, plus there'll still be a minion left no matter what.
Yeah.
So that's actually still death next turn. The healing touch,
well, we'll see, Artosis.
Yeah, well, I think this is a little bit easier this time, this math. Like 3 plus 5 plus 4.
Should be. He can still use his hero ability if he innervates, and I think I would be very tempted to do that right now. No, he's not going to.
Hey.
Living dangerously.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is. And so, by playing a card, he'll be able to get the 4 damage out of Eviscerate, and now, even people with as feeble math skills as we have can see that Trump has won game 1.
That's right. GG, and Savjz is on the back foot.
Yeah.
So, Trump takes game number 1. Yeah. A nice start against Savjz here. And Savjz gonna bust out the Warlock.
Oh yeah, I mean...
The other top deck.
That's right, exactly. So if Druid doesn't work, go to Warlock. But I'm really curious now...
It's pretty foolproof, right?
It's true, but now you have to wonder if Warlock goes down, you know, then what? Then things get a little bit dicey. So I feel like Savjz really needs to take a win here in game number 2. Otherwise, he could already be in a little bit of trouble.
I have to agree with you. You know, Druid and Warlock are pretty much seen as the 2 top-tier decks, and I guess Rogue is right there with them.
Oh, yeah.
So if he gets 2 of them taken out by the Rogue deck, then probably Trump is going to have a Warlock and a Druid deck as well, and it's going to get a bit dicey. So
it will.
He's putting his best foot forward, and let's take a look at this particular version. This is kind of a funny, teched-out version of Warlock.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. It's got some of the stuff you don't usually see quite as much in Warlock. Like Nat Pagal he's a card that's coming up in a lot of decks now because they fixed him. He actually does draw 50% of the time instead of 25%.
Feels like more than that, I have to say.
He's solid now. Yeah, he's really good. But I mean, he's got, like you said, a lot of techie stuff. Tinkmaster Overspark, Nat Pagal. What else do we have in there? One Ironbeak Owl. He's got
and Earthen Ring Farseer.
Exactly, Black Knight.
Yeah. It definitely is quite teched out. The only thing that I look at, I'm like, oh, I don't know, is the Nat Pagal. It seems a little bit slow for the deck.
It does. I mean, I guess if you can coin it out, that's good. But at the same time, a lot of times with the Warlock deck, you're going to be wanting to coin out like a Blood Imp and a Voidwalker or something like that instead. So, yeah, the Nat Pagal is interesting. And maybe he thinks it'll give him a little bit more sustain against this Warlock deck. It certainly seems like or against a Rogue deck rather, but it certainly seems like it's a Warlock deck that's more sustain oriented than what we've seen recently. So
yeah, like in a more mid-range battle, it might do a bit better than the more standard aggressive Warlocks if it doesn't get off to that quick start.
It really looks like it's designed to just barely outlast most mid-range decks. So I think it's a good choice against Trump's Rogue deck, but I guess we'll have to get into game 2 and see what happens.
Game number 2, starting out. Trump once again at the bottom, and he has a pretty solid hand. To be able to coin out a Shattered Sun Cleric on that is amazing.
Yeah, man.
But this hand sucks for Savjz.
Yeah, it's really bad. He's got like a long time to wait. Oh, well, at least he got the Blood Imp out early on, but yeah, I think he's just going to life tap instead.
This is something that can happen when you're playing a deck like that. Like, you even mentioned 2 Defender Vargas and Earthen Ring. Those are cards that are, they're really good in certain situations, but like early game they aren't going to be as nice.
Nearly everybody has gone down to just 1 Defender in decks that run them, so I was a bit surprised to see that, and he just got bad luck, though. I mean, it's fine for his deck, but just a really rough draw starting out for Savjz here, and Trump actually going for the Gnome instead.
He has 2 Dark Irons is the thing, and if he can coin out a Dark Iron next turn to give +2 attack, it's like ridiculous, and he's going to be able to because we see this hand. Look, another 4-drop in Savjz's hand. I don't know, man. This is like to me already looks unwinnable.
It could actually already be over. Yeah, I mean, Savjz has had a really bad start, and Trump has had a really good start. So we'll see. He's gonna Shattered Sun.
I am surprised about this. I was really thinking Dark Iron. Like, you don't save the coin past this turn.
I do like getting the 4/4 out there too, because you can also, I mean, if you get the 4/4 out there, you can maybe draw to Soulfire. And a lot of Warlocks rely on Soulfires for kind of like finishing moves too. So if you can get that out of their hand, then that kind of makes them a little bit less kill potential,
Not just the Soulfire too. It's like just adding the additional point of damage onto your little 1/1 dude is so nice.
This is so rough for Savjz, man.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Trump, it's impossible to make a mistake here because his hand is really strong based on his board position. This is a really nice situation for him.
Yeah. I mean, at least there is Shadow Flame in Savjz's hand, so if he can get something out...
Yeah, like next turn he can actually do Power Overwhelming attacks and Shadow Flame.
Yeah.
So he can actually just clear the board next turn, so that's actually very nice, and from a cleared board state, he's actually in a much better spot.
See, and that's why you put 1 Shadow Flame in that deck, but we've got the first Dark Iron out, and there goes the Farseer, so that ends the potential of being able to Shadow Flame after that Power Overwhelming. I mean, he could still do it on his Blood Imp, and I would say you definitely should,
He has to, Power Overwhelming it, attack for 5, and Shadow Flame. And this is going to be an amazing turn. Shadow Flame is such a great card in a situation like this, and there
we go.
Yeah, look at this. That is the best turn you could have hoped for. And now we look at it, and it's a lot more even at this point.
Yeah, quite a bit. Oh, nice draw on the Azure Drake, though, for Trump. I mean, that's going to be a nice turn 5. Could always play Sylvanas, but I think he's going to want to get a few more guys on the board.
Yeah.
And there he will.
This is a really solid move right here.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We do have Soulfire going on right now, so he can't Soulfire, and I think he definitely will Soulfire. He's got to slow this damage that's coming down. He needs to just use his cards as quickly as possible.
Right.
Because he is low on health.
With all the duplicates in his hand, too, it's not a big deal. Like, he lost a Defender there, but that doesn't really matter. That's fine. Let's see. So if you're Trump now, what do you play? Let's see. Still got the coin. Got 7 mana, but it's...
Oh, he's against Sylvanas.
That's the thing. With Sylvanas out there, suddenly you become kind of hesitant.
The thing is, if he plays his own Sylvanas, then he's just going to lose a minion, because you just hit their Sylvanas with their Sylvanas and steal their minions. So
ideally, yeah.
It's it feels kind of gross. I think what you do here is buff your little guy and just attack.
That's what he's going to do. All right.
Yeah, I like this move a lot because you're giving too many targets. And Sylvanas, there's no way to kill off your own Sylvanas this turn, really.
Yep, pretty much.
So, let's see. Yep, see, he doesn't... I guess Defender of Argus is going to be the absolute best he can do here.
I would say you might want to go Argent Squire into Defender of Argus here. I mean, you can also draw a card off it. He's getting a little bit low on health. It's getting a little bit dangerous to use the hero ability, but we'll see.
I think he can... If he has a couple big taunts out, it's kind of okay, but...
Yeah, you kind of want that Sylvanas to take priority as far as attacking things. Oh, that is so good.
That's really
nice.
Cute.
Yeah. Oh, and he steals the 4-2 with Divine Shield. Sick turn. Yeah, definitely well played.
Yeah, Trump being manner, giving that well played out.
Yeah.
That was a really nice move. I actually...
that was really good.
I like that a lot. You know what? I was still thinking about the taunt, because then he can start getting some damage on as well and have a couple taunts out there, because you always have to be careful. There's going to be Argents coming out. Well,
I like that
as I say it, there he is.
Well, I mean, Trump has his own Sylvanas in his hand right now. He could go Argent against the 4/4. We'll see.
I think he has. No, I think he has to go Argent and attack with both, bring him down to 7, and then he's so close to death range.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the rogue hero ability too. I mean, he knows he has direct damage on the way, so I like that. I think you can get him low enough.
You know, there's like Leroy's in the deck. There's Eviscerates. To get him down that low, like first off, the hero ability can't be used again. If he goes Argent, attack with that plus the Golem, that's 6 plus another 7 from using hero ability, brings him to 6 health. And with Eviscerates in the deck that haven't been used yet, he literally can't use the hero ability anymore if he does that. But actually decides to play a little bit more controlling.
You know, and I really do feel like this is a symptom of that mid-range meta, you know, where you really focus on board control rather than just going for the face. Whereas now in this current meta, you really do want to go for the face a lot more often than you used to. So I really feel like it's affecting Trump, because I feel like it's affecting all of us. You know, it's affecting what we've been saying and how I've been playing.
Yeah.
So it's the meta's shifting in a big way, and everybody's kind of struggling to adjust a bit.
Well, you know what? He had 7 damage on board. Savjz did, right? Against a 24 health. And you can't underestimate like Leroy plus Soulfire's most powerful whelmings and stuff. So maybe he's a little bit afraid of that. And in fact, with double taunts out and possibly a Leroy coming in,
actually going to go for the Defender instead, and then probably Leroy next turn.
Yeah, use him as kind of a kill move.
Yeah, well, he has the kill move next turn. Like, I think Trump might actually just be dead here.
This is kind of a crazy back and forth game, and
well, that Defender of Argus, man. I mean, it's really saving the day right now for Savjz, and Trump's only hope really was to.
So is your right now, I think.
Yeah, go for the face, and then his only hope was to go for the face last turn, and then hope to draw into some direct damage, and yeah, I think absolutely Azure Drake, because he knows he needs that direct damage to handle these minions, and even if he does, like, it's still not going to be easy. Okay,
oh wait,
so he can take out one of the taunters, I guess.
Yeah, he can take out some stuff, but this is still lethal next turn, I believe, right? Because it's
after last game, I don't want to make any calls, man. That's
yeah, no, this is. It looks like that's it. That's 11 plus another 6.
Yeah, I mean, he can finish off the 3/3 with his hero ability, but that's still going to make him take 3 damage.
And then he's down to 13 health against
plus Leroy.
Still too much.
Yeah.
So if there's a Leroy in hand, he's just kind of dead. A hard situation. It's funny because Trump was like killing in the early game, but this is the power of Warlock. You know, you get so many cards in, and suddenly you just explode onto the board, and you're dead.
Yep. And Trump is sadly quite dead, as we know.
Yeah.
Leroy Jenkins on
He's
the
actually
way.
just crossing his fingers right now.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, he doesn't know it's in Savjz's hands, so he does maintain a good board state, but we know it's over.
I think even Trump here is assuming that he's dead right now, and he's about to see it. This is like way too much damage for him.
Yeah, there we go.
And
he's
here we go,
Leroy.
And that's going to be a GG here from Trump. Savjz taking game number 2 with Warlock.
Alright guys, well it looks like the Warlock deck from Savjz did win, so we're all tied up 1-1. I knew this series was going to be good, but Trump bringing out his own Warlock this time.
And you know, this is the type of game that can actually decide a big series, because Warlock is so powerful right now, and you expect the Warlock deck to go through 1, 2, maybe even 3 decks of your opponent.
You hope that it does.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's generally the idea. And Trump's chosen a pretty all-in Warlock deck. I mean, it's pretty aggressive. Young Priestess, it's like an extra Flame Imp. He's got King Mukla in there, which is actually like a pretty cool card to throw into a lot of decks these days. And people shouldn't be quite as nervous about using him as I think a lot of people are.
Well, especially in Warlock versus Warlock, I would say, because yes, the bananas can be useful, but the value of 1/1 for 1 is not as high as the value of all the other Warlock cards.
Oh, especially think about all those other Warlock 1-drops. You know, 3/2 for 1, and then you take 3 damage. Who cares?
Yeah.
1 for Blood Imp. He gives everything else 1 health. You know, 1/3 with Taunt for 1. So yeah, you're right. The bananas are not going to be quite as appealing.
They aren't that mana efficient, so I really like it. And I have to say, looking at these lists, even though Savjz's deck is kind of teched out, has a lot of answers and everything, I really prefer Trump's deck. It looks so consistent. It looks so solid.
It looks quick. It looks mana efficient and banana efficient.
Oh, Tom.
All right. Well, on that note.
Oh, my God.
On that note, before things get any worse, let's get into game number 3.
Murloc versus Murloc. Let's look at those opening hands.
It's not Murloc versus Murloc. What are you talking about? It's Warlock versus Murloc. In your dreams,
I don't know why I'm thinking about Murloc so much. It's
because we were just talking about Murlocs before the game. Yeah, that's
while getting
true.
this started about how quickly they kill compared to regular.
That's true. Yeah, it's like after the little break, we're like, well, how fast can a game actually? Well, Murloc, you know, double War Leader, that's going to be done really fast. But speaking of fast, this is a fast Nat Peggle from Savjz.
It certainly is, and that is such a strong card. But it's, you know, against a Knife Juggler, what is it going to do? Not all that much, right?
Yeah, do you Soulfire this turn?
Yes.
I kind of want to.
You Soulfire 100%, I would say. You can't let... Knife Juggler will just pick everything off.
Yeah.
Now, that's a good start by Savjz.
That's pretty strong, dude. After being liberated, he did lose Sylvanas, but he's going to get a lot of cards. He's going to be good. Trump with the threat. He's like...
threatens there, yes,
it's on
indeed.
now, yeah.
Okay, let's see what this Knife Juggler is. If he hits the Blood Imp, he's in good shape still.
Yep. Rolling the dice, and right to the face.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Okay, so there's still plenty that Trump can do. This game is not over yet because the actual board of Savjz is not that strong yet.
Yeah.
But he is definitely going to Soulfire this Knife Juggler. And,
Man, 2 Knife Jugglers, 2 Soulfires. He loses a Black Knight, but again, not a huge problem.
The other time he lost to Sylvanas, but you know what? He's drawn a lot of cards off Nat Peggle right now.
Yeah,
and
he really
he's
is.
only gotten rid of his expensive cards, which he doesn't really need. So.
Well, it was so funny when Nat Peggle first came out. Everyone's like, "Well, I don't think he's very good," but that was because he was broken and was only drawing like 25% of the time.
Yeah.
Now he is amazing. Yeah.
Now here, this is getting a little bit harder. Do you Demon Fire your Demon here?
I really like Demon Firing the Voidwalker just to make a big beefy taunter that can also deal out damage too. But with that 4/5, I would be a little bit worried. I
almost want the Blood Imp to kill the 3/1. I feel like with Nat Peggle out, with the fact that he's had a very nice start, Trump is getting a little bit lower on cards. I wouldn't mind him doing something like that.
I can see that.
You know, I hate losing a Blood Imp, but Trump's deck is so much more aggressive, you know?
I really do love Demon Fire on the Voidwalker, though, because it makes it so strong. And he's still going to lose it, but he's going to take a lot of damage onto his Dark Iron because of it. So it's an okay trade. You know, conceivably it's going to be fairly easy to kill off that next turn for Savjz. But we'll see. Trump has a lot of good cards in his hand yet. He can buff up that Dark Iron to a 5/3 if he wants to. But going to go for the Harvest Golem. All right.
I think that's right. He's got a buffer in his hand. This is going to allow him to have minions on the board next turn no matter what. I think it's strong.
And he knows that Shadow Flame is out there too as well. So he knows that with 3 health, it wouldn't really help his Dark Iron survive that if Savjz wanted to play it.
Whoa. It looked like Savjz was thinking about attacking Blood Imp into the Harvest Golem. That would be a really funny move.
Well, you wouldn't want to do that first because then if you were planning on using your Knife Juggler, he would die to the Harvest Golem. So.
Well, I think what he's going to do is probably, if he does that, he'll attack in... Oh, wait, yeah, you'd want to attack in with the Knife Juggler first, and then attack with the Blood Imp, and then do your Soulfire. Because then you clear his entire board, and you still have Nat on board.
He's actually going to Life Tap instead, so no Soulfire this turn. He's just going to use the Knife Juggler. And there we go. Okay, heal it right back up with the Earthen Ring Farseer. Alright. Ah, nice. 1 damage. Oh, that was so good.
Yeah, but now the Golem does trade with the Knife Juggler.
Yeah,
but... kind of...
Oh, well, actually...
an interesting turn there.
The Defender of Argus draw for Trump is really good, too, but... I mean, I would feel pretty good about that turn if I was Savjz, but we know it's in Trump's hands, so we're not so happy about
that's
that.
Very
but
true.
Looking at it from Savjz's perspective, I would be like, all right, sick turn, but
yeah, like for instance, right now he could kill the Knife Juggler, and then play a Squire and a Defender if he likes. That's not too bad, because obviously having a 3/3 taunt and then a 2/2 taunt with Divine Shield is pretty solid. Can't really get through that next turn.
Totally. I mean, you know that Nat Pagel's got to be bugging him, though, and he has not been able to handle that yet this game. And
yeah, that
maybe
guy never
we'll
dies.
be able to next turn, but
that guy like actually just never dies. But you know what? There's still a Shadow Flame, and the thing is, Shadow Flame is like the great equalizer. This is the card that can change everything around for Savjz if he gets behind.
We've seen that happen before, definitely.
Well, this is a solid board that we have for Trump, and they're both very high on health still. And I think we were definitely wrong. This is not going to end around turn 7 or 8.
I guess not this time around, but you never know what kind of start these guys are going to get. Like, it's all right. We'll see what he does. He's still got that Shadow Flame, which has got to be really tempting this turn. Do you go ahead and attack into the Golem and then Shadow Flame? I think that wouldn't be a bad turn.
So I would Shadow Flame at this point. The board for Trump is getting bigger and bigger, right? Yeah. And, I mean, you get rid of his Blood Imp, which is always nice.
Plus, with only 2 cards in Trump's hand right now, I think this is a great turn for Shadow Flame, because you're going to make him start to use his life tap to draw a little bit more.
That's true.
There we go.
And it looks like he is going to go ahead and do this.
I think it's the best turn, even though it does leave you with the 2-1 out from the Golem.
Yeah. It's still a good choice, I think. And smart move here by Trump. He's just going to go ahead, start playing some minions.
Yep.
I totally would not mind him going for the Defender on these 2 minions, just to get that extra attack power out.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
And we'll see if he chooses that, though. He's thinking about maybe just throwing down some Voidwalkers.
Yeah, maybe, but I really like the Defender, because it gives you, after the one Shadow Flame just went out, it gives you such a good chance of killing off Nat Pagel finally.
Thing is, the Nat Pagel is actually so silly so far.
Defender, do it. Do it. It's best play. Yes. All right.
Okay.
So, Defender. No way. Blizz, please.
Oh, that's so ridiculous. That is so unfair for poor Trump.
That's the thing is, with Defender right now with that bug where minions switch around after the death rattles happen, you just never really know where they actually are in the
Sometimes
board.
Harvest Golem goes in the same spot, and sometimes he goes on the right. It's like really weird. And here it actually bugged out in such a way that this is actually the first time we've had it in the King of the Hill where this actually affected the game. So we're gonna have to see how this goes. But since we're casting this, I'm guessing that it doesn't affect the outcome that much. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I think so too. We'll see. But that's unfortunate.
That's rough though, man. That's seriously annoying.
It's kind of an annoying bug to deal with. So let's see what Savjz does his turn. Okay, now his Defender. Oh, and he gets it off correctly.
Smart move. He knows he's going to lose that next turn anyways.
Yeah.
And look at that. Draws him another card. So Savjz is still fighting very well, and his hand is just so full right now.
It is, and the thing is that it's full of stuff that's going to be a little bit more efficient once it's out on the board than Trump's hand is, unfortunately for Trump. The Young Priestess does help out a little bit, though. That is kind of nice.
And
okay, kill off the 2.
The Young Priestess is going to be quite nice. Look at how much these guys are jumping.
I know.
Jeez. Well, at least he doesn't have another Defender to get frustrated with.
Yeah.
But let's take a look here. He can basically just empty his hand. I don't think that's a bad play at all. Soulfire's already gone.
Shadow Flame, it's been played already. I mean, nobody runs 2 of those, so I say drop your hand. Yeah, he's going to do it.
And he doesn't even care about the order because that's screwing with him this game anyways. Now,
exactly.
Oh, nice. Suddenly very scary.
That was so cool, actually. He got the extra health on the 2/2, so that's kind of nice.
All right, so for Savjz now, we'll take a look at his hand. Still a very solid hand. Yeah, this is a good move to probably Demon Fire that guy off.
Yeah, definitely want to get rid of that.
He just needs to play as much on the board as he possibly can. One of the annoying things is that there's 2 Voidwalkers, and a lot of what he has in his hand is like 2 attacks, so it might take him a little bit to get through.
Well, he's got the one Dark Iron to help out a little bit, and he's got the Demon Fire, so we'll see what he does. Okay, don't Demon Fire that, man.
Yeah, this is kind of a hard call, I would say.
Did he just give that demon?
No.
Oh, okay, it's enemies, only friendlies. Okay, never mind. Wow. All right.
But okay, so it's interesting that he didn't get rid of the Priestess just because she is so annoying.
Yeah.
And she can, if she gives it to like a Voidwalker, that's gonna really be a sad moment.
Right.
But well, Trump can play his whole hand out here still. He's really having a nice board condition going
Yeah, why not? I mean, there's no reason not to. Again, you know, with no AoE to worry about, yeah, just drop everything.
And
I would put that on the other Voidwalker.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. He might want to do it. It looks like he just wants to go for damage here, though.
Yeah.
And this guy's pretty safe behind all that for a while.
Yeah,
so.
we'll give him a chance to possibly get more turns out of it.
Because we already saw 2 Soul Fires and 1 Demon Fire, so he knows that unless these taunts are gone, he's gonna have another attack with that guy for another 5 damage. So I can't blame Trump for that. Nice move.
Very true.
So let's see here. What card is this that he's using?
I didn't see it before he took it out of his hand. It's
too fast.
Yeah.
This is what happens when
okay.
Okay.
Iron
So
Beak, all right.
that is a hard decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now this actually allows him, with that silence, to get rid of that Defender of Argus at this point.
That's right. So he can take out the 1/1 at least with one of his golems. And he can also go for somebody else. The 5/2, yeah, would be nice to...
That's not the most useful thing in the world.
No, not really.
He could do a Gamble Tink Master on something, but I don't see any point at this moment.
Yeah, well, he's got other things to play before I think he goes for that. There we go. All right. Wow, what a crazy board actually right now. Trump in a position where he's got more health, and that's a nice draw with that Defender of Argus. Oh man, is that good?
Yeah, that's what we call the game.
That's right. That helps a little bit.
Okay, so that is it, and Trump's Aggro Warlock takes out the more controlling Warlock of Savjz.
Nice.
Well, you know what? Trump's deck ends up winning. Not too surprised. I really do feel like it's a better version of Warlock overall. And Savjz decides to bring out Rogue, which, you know, as we were talking about before, there's like 3 kind of very top-tier decks. And this is the last one for Savjz out of those.
You know, a lot of it too is, you know, like we said, it's different little sort of takes on the Rogue idea, because this Rogue deck is a little bit different than the one that we saw from Trump, and we talked about how techy Trump's Warlock deck was. Check out this Rogue deck from Savjz, man, because he's got so much crazy stuff. Big Game Hunter, Van Cleef, he's got Nat Pagel in there again, a Blade Fury, No Machine Vendor Spellbreaker. Like, this is a much slower Rogue deck than we normally see, but it looks very... It's definitely more controlling than most.
It is, and it's got all these things that can give him a massive advantage, massive card advantage, such as the Black Knight, such as the Ragnaros, such as the Big Game Hunter, but these are all kind of situational. It's going to make it a little bit less consistent as well, and I don't know, I feel like it might have too many of these cards that are going to mess up the draws a bit.
I agree, man. I mean, the thing is when you only have one of a card in a deck, even if it's only a 30-card deck, your chances of drawing it are pretty slim in most games that only last to, like, turn 6 or 7, maybe 8 or so. So it's a little bit tricky, and I gotta say, and I know you feel the same way because we talked about this before, I'm not a big fan of the Big Game Hunter.
I do not like Big Game Hunter, not one bit. Like, what does it really hit nowadays?
Well, against the deck from Trump, really nothing.
Nothing at all.
Nothing is probably going to get over 7 attack in this deck.
You have to double buff one of his bigger minions.
It's pretty unlikely, and obviously, you know, we have our players come into this King of the Hill with decks pre-made. They can't, like, adjust on the fly. So that's a card, and I mean, we're seeing decks from these guys that they're probably laddering a lot with and things like that, and on the ladder, you can definitely make an argument for having Big Game Hunter, especially with all the Druids you see with, like, Ironbark Protector, you know, all the big stuff there. So
Ragnaros and stuff like that.
So it's not going to help him out in this particular game, but it's not bad, I guess you could say, but I personally am not a fan of the card.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. Now, if Savjz gets off to a very nice start and Trump's start is a little bit slow, I could see him taking it, but again, I look at this Warlock deck, and it's so tight.
Yeah.
It looks so dangerous to play against.
It's really fast, and I mean, the thing with the Warlock deck like this is it's really hard to get a bad opening hand. It's actually really hard to draw poorly. You know, you're always going to have at least a couple 1-drops, and if you get the coin on top of that, you're going to be in great shape. So, I don't know, we'll see what happens. I think it's time to move into game number 4. Alright, here we go, guys. Game 4. Can Savjz tie it up in this Rogue versus Warlock matchup? Our second Rogue versus Warlock matchup we've seen today. A little bit opposite. Oh, that is a strong turn 1, though, from Trump. Oh, jeez. Wow.
Can't complain about that one too much. And now Savjz has a hard decision. Does he utilize this Eviscerate? Does he utilize the Backstab? I think he actually uses maybe both? No, I guess not.
Yeah, it's tough.
Right.
I mean, it really makes you feel awful when you have to use 2 cards to get rid of a 1/4 Voidwalker, but I like the backstab on the Priestess much better.
The backstab on Priestess and then Eviscerate on the Voidwalker to get rid of both.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
The Voidwalker he's not that afraid of, really, but it is going to get in his way to remove some of these other minions.
Yeah, well, I mean, now he may be thinking that decision, rethinking that decision, rather, now that the Knife Juggler's out on the table, but... Nope, another Eviscerate.
He gets rid of it, and that's really what matters here. Knife Juggler just too powerful if you let it stay on the board. But
yeah,
let's take a look. I mean, if this game continues to go on, then Savjz's deck is going to look pretty nice.
Yeah,
he's got a pretty good hand.
Indeed. Harvest Golem to play from Trump. And so he's just going to get more beefiness out on the board. That's perfectly fine. Yeah, and that's a good turn for the Gnomish Inventor. Why not? Again, the 2/4 just kind of a little bit difficult to get rid of, and you get that card draw out of it.
Yeah, it stays alive for a long time with 4 health. You know, it's just not going to go down for a bit.
Now, do you Defender right away here, do you think? Or do you just go ahead and buff somebody and start killing off people?
That's
because
a good question.
I
think the Shattered Sun plus the Flame Imp is a nice play.
Yeah.
And I don't know that you're even going to need the Defender for a little bit. Like, I would just... Yeah. Because he's going to be in control for a while, at least. He can play more minions more quickly, and he's on the offensive.
When you get the chance to Defender onto something that would give you 2 Taunters with relatively high health, though, it always makes me think kind of twice, where I'm like, alright, well, maybe this would be a bad idea, but I think he's going to just get more stuff on the board here and then kind of play it out and see how things go.
Well,
yeah.
Looks like he's just going to go ahead and remove some minions here and continue to attack.
Yeah, gets plenty of board control out of it.
Let's see what Savjz gets here. Okay, so he has a lot of damage potential here.
Yeah, he does.
Nice backstab. He can SI 7 agent that 3/2 Flame Imp.
Yeah, he's going to be able to clear the board right back pretty easily with this turn.
Yeah, that's actually really quite nice.
Yeah.
And
there we go, SI 7 agent.
He could do something like attack into this and use a Blade Fury still. Oh wait, no, well I guess he can't because he's casting something. Oh wait, no, he does.
I think he's gonna end up using his hero ability to finish off the Voidwalker.
I was thinking of the other. I always get those mixed up. Demon Fire or whatever it's called.
Oh right. Yeah. Demon Fire, Shadow Flame, Blade Fury. It's a lot of names to keep track of, you know.
Yes. Well, Shadow Flame. That's the one I was thinking. It's like very similar. But anyways, that is really nice. He's basically cleared the board up. And he can actually, if the board just stays exactly the same, he can trade everything next turn.
Right. Alright, so now Trump might be a little bit scared to use Defender after what happened last game, too. That's something to keep in mind. But nothing's bounced around quite yet, so he could get 2 taunts if he uses it. Does he go ahead and Argent and then taunt, or make one of those?
Well, he can actually play his entire hand out. Like, he can play the Argent, he can taunt a couple of things, and Soulfire this 3/3, and I think that that's actually a fantastic move.
I agree completely, yeah. I think drop your hand. You've got 27 health, man. You can use your hero ability next turn.
To be honest, I think Argent, and then you put the Defender in between Argent and the Flame Imp.
Yep,
You trade with the Golem against the Gnomish Inventor, and then you Soulfire the 3/3. Yep. And then you're still attacking for 4 this turn, and he has nothing on board.
Absolutely agree with you.
And I think that that is a perfect turn, and he's just in such good shape he does it.
I'm just going to go ahead and Defender on the Golem as well, which isn't so bad. It'll stay alive, and so this will make sure that he has, you know, more creatures out on the board for a little bit longer. And it also makes it so that when Savjz attacks into that 3/1, he's going to take some damage too. So that's a perfectly fine way to play it, obviously. Probably a little bit better, honestly.
Yeah, so, alright, can't really complain about what's going on here.
No, not at all.
Looks all pretty good.
Trump's in a great spot right now.
Yeah, and it looks like there's a... Savjz is like 1 mana short off of doing anything fancy. Like, you know, an Azure plus Blade Fury is kind of okay here.
He really could use Deadly Poison, though, too. That's the thing, is that...
Yeah, well, that would be
Blade Fury
perfect draw.
Would really only do 1 damage to everything on the board right now, so it wouldn't be as helpful, but...
Yeah, and you know what? He's got a Black Knight now, so he can remove at least that Argent with the Divine Shield, which is nice, but that's like a whole turn's mana, so that's kind of sucks.
This is rough, man. I mean, Savjz is going to take a lot of damage next turn. Oh, man, and the Voidwalker, another taunt, and the Harvest Golem. And Trump can just drop both of those, and there's absolutely no reason why he shouldn't. I mean, yeah, the AoE is out there, but unless there's a Deadly Poison on the board, you don't really need to worry about it clearing too much. And I think it'll set him up for the kill next turn if he does it. If he attacks with everything and then drops everything, he should be able to do it.
I think I think Trump's going to drop everything, have a nice attack. I think that he should take out this yes.
Yeah.
He needs to take that out, because that's going to make it a lot harder to clear the board. Because Trump knows that there's going to be a Blade Fury somewhere.
And also,
so he's just being careful about having that little bit of extra damage from that little novice engineer.
And I think he knows, too, that he's going to have to worry about a possible Defender of Argus at some point as well. But, yep, dropping everything anyway. There it is with a clear board.
Yeah, really solid play here from Trump. He's in a very good spot.
Yeah, and he's got enough damage on the board to finish it off anyway.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Yeah, he's going to have to attack the Divine Shield and use Blade Fury, so he gets the +1 spell power from that, and it clears a little bit, but that's still way too much damage out there.
Well, it depends on what Trump draws, really, because right now it's a total of 6 damage. So, okay, +2, so if he can draw a little bit more, doesn't have enough to cast both Dark Irons, but he can get him close, and so he may just want to err on the side of caution here, and, well, not really err, but be cautious and take out the dragon here, too.
Yeah, the thing is, there's no life gain in Rogue decks, like...
No.
Is he going to be able to deal 21 damage before Trump drawing 2 cards a turn can finish him off?
Pretty doubtful, but the thing is, a fan of knives with spell power would clear everything on the board, so I think you do need to kill that dragon off.
That's true.
You do need to be aware of the possibility that it's out there. So, I don't know, I would Dark Iron onto the Golem and then kill the dragon and then just attack for 4. And then still be set up for a kill next turn. I mean, with a clear board and a rogue at, like, 5 health, you're not going to be too worried about it. 6 health or whatever.
If you get him down a little bit lower, right? If you do 7, 8 damage to him, bring him to 1, there's so many cards you can draw to just win the game.
That's true, too, yeah. I mean, we've got 2 choices here, the aggressive choice or the cautious choice. And either one is fine, but they're both based on what the player does the next turn, too. So this is one of those situations where you just try to make the best move and hope it works out. And he will do the aggressive move.
1. Clearing this entire board is like an impossible task right now.
Honestly, like, you really can't go wrong with either one, so...
Yeah.
Alright.
No, he's going to attack that because he has to.
Even with Ragnaros, it doesn't really
the thing is, he can play minions and throw out some taunts and stuff, and it doesn't matter. Does it do anything for him?
Well,
like, there's no way to live next turn, am I right?
It really depends on what Trump draws, really. Because, I mean, he can kill off the 1/1, yeah. And then he can play something else, and he can get a decent Defender of Argus here, which ideally would keep everything alive against these 3 minions. So, I think he can actually live for another turn.
I think he should have Van Cleefed into it to just make a bigger taunt.
Yeah, I don't think he would have had enough mana for that, but...
Well, if he hadn't played the Blood Mage.
Yeah, if he hadn't played one of those, but yeah. Okay.
So, he needs to get through 2 taunts. Obviously going to draw a card here. Blood Imp, not that good. Let's see. So, one of them has Divine Shield, so it looks like he just cannot get through everything this turn.
Not yet, no.
Maybe use the Golem to hit the Drake.
That was a really good turn for Savjz.
Yeah, like he's gonna live another turn, which is very nice. But
no, the thing is, if Trump doesn't draw any direct damage here, and Savjz manages to get Ragnaros out,
can he get? Well, I guess he can.
The thing is,
no, he can't clear the board because there's gonna be a Blood Imp.
Yeah, that's true.
He has to have more taunts this turn. Right?
If he draws a Fan of Knives, again, this is going to be 2 damage.
No,
I don't even know if he has in his deck. Okay, he doesn't have that. Never mind. Yeah.
And he already used his Blade Fury, guys.
All right. Okay, he should be dead. He should be dead, but he made a good show of it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like, I'm trying to think what's in his deck that can possibly... The thing is, the Blood Imp is a real issue here. Like, even if he could trade with the rest of the board, which I don't think he can.
What do you draw? Let's see. It's going to be... Defender again. Oh, man.
Well, it is certainly what he needs.
It is, yeah.
He has 9 mana, which means not a whole lot.
Well, Ragnaros wouldn't help you at all.
I would actually sacrifice the Blood Mage right now.
Yeah.
Just sack him out to something.
Yep.
Whatever it is, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, why not get it to 2 health? That is fine. And Squire. Well, I mean, you're gonna have the Divine Shield with the Defender again. I mean,
you could go like
the thing is I would go Squire into Van Cleef into a Defender, and then you'd have something really big as far as taunting goes.
Yeah, because then he's a 4/4, so you'd have a 4/4 with taunt, and then a 2/2 with Divine Shield and taunt. And against this many minions, attack.
Well, the attack doesn't really matter because he's at 1 health, you know.
He's still dead, unfortunately. Like,
I think so too.
He has enough to get through Divine Shield as well.
Yeah. We'll see.
Right? Oh, wait. Actually, if he trades this with him... No, still he has enough.
He should have enough, yeah, because you can't kill off enough 2-damage minions, that's the thing.
Got Van Cleef and Defender in between them.
Yeah.
Alright, so... let's see. Yeah, he busts that shield, kills it.
Yep.
Okay, this other one is actually at 5/5.
That's the thing, yeah.
Oh, wait, no,
there we go. Nice
busting.
busting. Yep. Yeah. All he needs to do is get through the taunts, and then he can attack with anything, even the blood him. So yeah, it's over. All right, well, there we go. Wow, Trump jumping out to a 3-1 lead here.
Wow.
Things getting serious for our 4-time King of the Hill champion. This is getting intense. Well, guys, a rogue deck wasn't quite at what it needed to beat the Nothing Beats Lock deck. So far, the name of Trump's deck kind of holding up, I guess.
Yeah, you know what? He beat the Warlock deck with his Warlock deck, and now his Warlock deck is starting to take down other decks.
Right.
So,
yeah.
You know what? I think that most people that play Hearthstone constructed competitively at all know that, yeah, it's pretty hard to beat Warlock.
It is, yeah, it's extremely difficult, and we're seeing a lot of that today. I mean, Warlock decks in general, I would say, have the most wins of any decks in this King of the Hill, obviously. So, now, the Paladin deck comes out, and this is a deck that comes and goes, it's popular, then it's not popular, and everyone will tell you, yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it's solid, it lasts, but a lot of people will say that it suffers against a lot of these rush decks.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit worried about this, especially with no Pyromancer in there, actually. I'm a little bit worried about that.
That is true. It feels like right now Paladin is a little bit weaker than it has been recently. Normally I always say Paladin, that's the deck that can beat any deck. But it's going to be behind until at least turn 4. You do need a good draw, but you're going to be behind no matter what until at least turn 4. And from there, sometimes it just gets out of hand and you lose.
Well, the thing is that the thing with Paladin and running this type of deck is that by playing Sword of Justice on turn 3 or coining it out on turn 2, you're kind of giving up board control for a turn. You're saying, all right, I'm going to let you have board control in the hope that my sword is going to let me catch up in terms of creature health and strength that I'll be able to come back with later. So it's a sacrifice that you kind of make when you run this type of deck, and it usually works. Otherwise, people wouldn't run it. But it is giving up that early advantage, and against a Warlock deck that's going to take every advantage of that early advantage, I think it's pretty risky. But you know, what can Savjz do? He's already gone through a lot of the top decks, I guess you could say.
This is his last deck, and it has to beat everything, and it definitely has potential, especially if it gets through this deck, and if it gets to the late game against anything. It has a quality in there with Avenging Wraths and Consecrates. It has such a great late game as well. Look at all these amazing late game cards. So he definitely still has a shot, but Trump has a lot of decks left.
Well, that's the thing. Late game is huge. So if you can get to late game, it'll be great. There's no silences that I can see in Trump's deck. He's got the Black Knight to handle Tyrion Forwardring, but aside from that, there's not a lot to handle it. So we'll see what happens. I got to say real quick, I love the Captain Greenskin in this deck. I like that little addition that Savjz just puts in there. But
you get that off on a true silver champion. Nothing feels as good.
I know. It's pretty scary. So time to get into game number 5, and let's see if Savjz can stay alive in this King of the Hill. If he doesn't win here, he's out.
All right, here we go. And these opening hands, actually, Trump has a very expensive opening hand, so that makes the opening hand of Savjz not so bad. Yeah,
this one is going to go to a little bit later game, it looks like, when you look at both of their hands, no doubt.
And that's all you can ask for with this Paladin deck. Yeah. You know, if you can just get into the later game, this deck is going to just kick so much ass. And with such a slow starting hand from Trump, totally doable. I really want to see him coin out that Young Priestess.
I agree.
And kill the 1/1, by the way. I want to see that so badly.
I think it would be a great play, and I think it'd set him up for something pretty strong. And is he not going to do it? Wow, he doesn't. I mean, yeah, you can throw it out any turn, but
Trump likes to save that coin.
He does, man. But I think the longer you save it, the less effective it is. Unless you're talking about coining out something in Druid, you know, using Innervate too. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think with an aggressive deck, generally you want to use it early. But the thing is, his hand is so bad, like so slow, that I guess I am kind of okay with it.
Well, his creature would have survived last turn. I mean, I don't think you would have seen Savjz attack with the sword, but we'll see. And he's just going to save it again? All right.
Yeah, and we could see him attack with that sword again as well, for sure. You know,
quite possible.
I would say probably he's going to attack with it, make a token, and give the token Divine Shield.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
So
might as well.
There we go. And look, this gives you a 2/2 with Divine Shield, and it gives you a 3/3. This is such, like, Normally you're behind right now with a Paladin deck, but this was a reasonable opening against a really poor Warlock opening.
When you get the sword on turn 3, usually turn 4, like you mentioned before the game, is really when things start kind of heading out. But there we go, a little bit of damage on the Dark Iron, or from the Dark Iron, but still going to be a risky spot. I'd feel a little bit worried if I was Trump right now.
Ooh. This is a hard choice. I think True Silver is pretty nice. I think Sylvanas is nice.
Sylvanas is okay. Getting a 6/6 Sylvanas, I think, is perfectly fine here. I think going for True Silver.
Plenty of life, and look at his hand. He has so much life gain.
Yeah, True Silver
is a great play.
True Silver is a little bit too aggressive here, I think.
Yeah.
Might as well use that last charge up. There we go. Just go for the face.
Yeah, that gives him such a nice position on this board as well. Trump has to be feeling it right now, man. I feel for Trump. This is hard. What the hell do you play here? You can't race against this.
No.
You like lose the race. You can't Iron your Dark Iron, or you lose a Dark Iron.
Well, this is a situation where you really don't want to play King Wukla too. So yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, doesn't have quite enough for Argent Commander just yet.
Well, this is you can't get a worse draw than what Trump has really with this deck. He's got like such a consistent deck, but this is tough times.
You know,
okay, this is what I would like to see.
Right.
Defender of Argus only, attack for 5.
Yep, I think that would be a perfectly fine way to go, because you'll get Sylvanas low, you won't really give him a whole lot to steal. So I like that.
Well, I wouldn't attack Sylvanas, I'd attack his opponent.
I mean, Sylvanas would get low when he attacks the next turn, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
The one thing that's a problem with that, I think that's a good move looking at this position right here.
I think it's kind of the best move
But I look at Savjz's hand, and that sucks because then he just kills it off with the True Silver.
That's the thing. It's like it's the best thing he can do, but he's not gonna do it. He's gonna go ahead and go for the Young Priestess. All right, just getting stuff out on the board.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, now I guess it's just. It's on Savjz. How does he want to play this?
There's a couple ways you can approach playing against Sylvanas, and one other way is to just flood the board with a lot of stuff, so there's a lower chance that they'll get something good. So that's what he's kind of going for, and then that's a perfectly fine decision. Nothing wrong with that at all.
All right, so now we get to see what it is that he wants to kill off here. Looks like he's going to take out. The thing is, he can do almost anything here, and it's not a wrong play because he's so far ahead right now. This is like the greatest position ever.
I do kind of like just attacking through, honestly. You know, make your opponent worry about Sylvanas, and you get the chance to do 6 damage.
Yeah.
And every health you get the Warlock lower makes it less and less likely that they'll be able to use their hero ability that turn. And Trump's got a big hand, so it's not as applicable this game. But generally, the more damage you can put on the Warlock, the better.
You know what? There's so much removal right now for Savjz that he can keep attacking Sylvanas if he likes. And the thing is, if you buff creatures too big, she'll kill them. And if it's just minis, then you just kill them off with your sword and with your tokens and stuff. So
exactly.
Hard situation.
There we go. Yeah, Trump down to 18 already. Knife Juggler, not going to be the most helpful thing. I mean, he could get it to maybe pop the Divine Shield and kill off that token, but...
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're right. That's about all that I see here.
Yep. And, okay, so he's just going to do that. Yeah, just wants to get rid of his board.
Probably kills Sylvanas here, yes, of course.
Yep. And there we go.
Her Death Rattle triggers first, so he doesn't get the Golem. And now Trump can start to try to fight back.
Well, yeah, what happens there is that the deaths are simultaneous, and then
we figured this out today.
That's right. It looks like the Sylvanas Death Rattle sequentially is quicker than the Death Rattle from the other one.
The Defender's triggers first.
Right.
And then the Attacker's
That's
triggers.
right. Yep, that's what I'm saying. There you go.
Yeah.
So he's got an okay board position once he gets everything played this turn. I think Defender of Argus is a good way to go with that. Still saving that coin.
Yeah, well, I guess this turn there was definitely nothing for him to do. But now it looks like he has a pretty good situation going on. Unfortunately for him, this is going to ruin his day.
Oh, yeah.
Good old Consecration going down.
Consecrate has always been the bane of aggro, Warlock and things like that. It's...
Consecration is like one of the best AoEs in the entire game. I actually prefer it to Lightning Storm, which is the other one that's like just godly.
Well, the combo between Equality and Consecrate too, the potential that Paladin has to clear the board is so good.
Pretty wild.
Or Equality Pyromancer for that matter too. I mean, that's a pretty strong board clear too.
Equality and a bunch of 1/1s.
Like, pretty much just Equality actually is really good.
It certainly is. All right, you're gonna attack with that. You can just play another True Silver.
It's got him down to 10 health, man. It's Trump's in big trouble.
Well, he has True Silver plus Avenging Wrath, which is pretty rough.
Yeah.
We may have to see Trump start trading stuff, which is obviously not something he wants to do here. Like, do you pop your Divine Shield against a 1/1 really?
Yeah, I think you kind of have to. I mean, you can't really allow them to get any more damage onto you, but this one hurts, man. I mean, the 3-1 for the one. This is the one that really hurts.
You see him. He's actually, I can feel the pain through the internet,
it's like,
through time and space.
Do I actually Soulfire this token? It's like...
Do I trade my 3-1?
It's just not going to be good either way, yeah.
Because, well, he's going to lose the 3-1 regardless, it looks like.
Yeah. So, I mean, you might as well get some damage in with it, but then again, you leave it open for Blessing of Kings to come in. Trump doesn't know what Savjz has in his deck.
Well,
so.
Based on what Savjz has, it's a kill this next turn, no matter what he does.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Well, we know that.
Avenging Wrath for 8, and then 4 more, and that's it.
Yep.
That's game.
Yep. We know what's up.
You know what? Really nice play here from Savjz's deck.
Yeah, and we're going to go... there we go. We're going to go to...
Well, in a minute after this next turn, but like there's there's no coming back. There's no taunts left. He's used his defenders, and he knows it, and he has to Soulfire that, which is so terribly sad.
Yeah,
or,
well, I guess Mortal Coil. Yeah, Mortal Coil.
Yeah, whatever. The game is completely done.
It's a good turn for King Mukla, man. I mean, it's not bad. There you go.
So here comes this True Silver, and
yep, and death.
You know what? Savjz wins, but Trump had a really bad draw here, so not counting him out yet, but this Paladin deck pretty strong.
It's going to be tough to come back in, so let's see if Trump can do it and close out the series.
So, Savjz ends up taking it down with his Paladin.
Yeah.
And Trump brings out another deck, a Mage deck. Not too surprised to see. Turn 8 looks like it's kind of taken from the idea that Crip had for BlizzCon. And again, this is just a super solid deck.
Oh yeah, I mean, aggressive Mage has been really popular in Hearthstone for quite a long time. I'd have to say, the way that over time as the meta has shifted, aggro Mage has been kind of one of those decks that just kind of stuck with it. So definitely a good choice by Trump. I mean, it's only his second deck too, or third deck rather too. So he's still got a couple more or one more at least to go through it. So it's not bad.
And the thing is, this is a deck that you look over here and you say, yeah, there's a lot of life gain there. But the thing is, this isn't just spells. This is also a lot of minions that you're gonna have to deal with. And then, of course, the Pyroblast and Fireballs to finish you off. It's scary. Everyone's played against. Everyone's frustrated with decks like this.
You know, it's actually really funny that Trump has 2 Acidic Swamp Oozes in this, because most decks will only play 1. So the fact that he's got this Mage deck with 2 in there already is that he's ready for this. You know, he anticipated the possibility of the Paladin, so this deck is prepared not only just to be good in general, but extra good against weapon-based classes like Paladin.
That's actually a really, really good point, and I even want to say that warrior decks can be quite nice against this.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of the times that's going to come into play. Like right now there's a lot of OTK warrior and stuff like that.
With Goral and everything, yeah.
I think it's a good choice. It should be a pretty good matchup. You know, if Savjz can slow it down and get into that life gain, then it's going to be pretty close.
Yeah, we'll have to find out. Savjz is still fighting for his life, but if he can take this game, he's going to tie it up and force a Game 7. So, let's get in the game and see what happens.
Alright, it is Game 6, and taking a look at these hands, double Consecrate in hand.
That's a rough hand to start off with, man. I mean, Consecrate is nice and all that, but against this Mage deck, it's not going to be really that helpful, especially when you think about consecrating an Acolyte of Pain that Trump has in his hand. Not the most appealing thing for Savjz to do.
Gotta agree with you. How about this? Does he Arcane Missiles or does he go for... Okay, he does.
I like Arcane Missiles.
Yeah, I think that's fine, and I think Novice Engineer would have been okay as well.
I think so too. I mean, the reason why I would favor Arcane Missiles is that then you'd just be trading creatures, and if you can get rid of that, and then, like, now, there's a token, so now your Novice Engineer next turn is going to be safe, so I really like that move by Trump.
Sure, it's a good one, and it gets 2 damage on him, so that's nice. And of course, you know, Novice Engineer I think is one of the best cards against Paladin, just because it always like kills a couple tokens off. Because early game, a lot of times Paladins just make a token or 2. There's not a ton to do early game with Paladin.
It is basically just a token handler. Okay, there we go. And so this is still going to set up a pretty good turn for Trump next turn, because he can always just, if he wants to, coin into Novice Engineer and Frostbolt the Golem. But no, he's actually just going to go for the Acolyte. Alright, so not wanting to clear the board, just wanting to get some more stuff out himself. I'm a little bit unsure about that one.
You know what? I think that playing an Acolyte early is really nice. You can play it later, but like against a Paladin, minimum you're drawing 1 card, of course, right? And like... not that many people, I think, play Hammer of Wrath right now. I think it's one of the weakest cards that's out there, really.
Yeah, it's kind of expensive for 3 damage. I mean, you do get the card draw, but and he's just going to consecrate anyway.
Well, and now that means that this guy's going to end up drawing like 2 cards.
Well, now it's been a really good play. I don't know. That was kind of a weird decision as far as consecrate goes. I mean, I think he feels that he just needs to kind of keep the board as clear as he can, and he's got another one coming yet, but...
I guess if he doesn't do that, it draws 3 cards, but...
Yeah.
And now that's... What a sad day for Savjz. That was such a useful Acolyte of Pain.
Yeah. Really could not have gone better for Trump.
Trump hates the coin, by the way.
I guess so, man. He's like, who needs this coin?
He just does not use the coin.
Doesn't need it.
He is not into it. Alright, well, here we go. Aldor Peacekeeper coming down.
There we go.
And, dude, I love Aldor Peacekeeper.
Me too.
Look at this, a 1/4 that's so different from a 4/4. I know that seems obvious.
That's very true. It is very different from a 4/4. It's got a different number for a reason. All right, well, still manages to do a little bit of damage with it.
I think he figured he'd get pinged if he didn't do that. So
I think you're right.
As well.
That's always an opportunity with Mage.
Yeah.
All right, so there's the Frostbolt, and he's just going to go ahead and trade, and then he's got enough for another Harvest Golem or an Acolyte if he wants to here.
I think an Acolyte is a really nice play.
Why not,
hold
man?
On. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That would have been 8 cards. Okay, I think the Golem in this case is better. He's got all these pump cards in his hand. His hand is full. He doesn't need to draw more cards now. Use the Acolyte late game when you need to refill your hand.
Exactly, and I think he also knows that it'll be good consecration insurance later on too, because it'll make Savjz think twice about casting that. So there we go.
Great move here.
Yep.
Easily clear this board down to just the 2/1 damage column.
Yep.
And the 2/1 damage column, the best I can do is trade with this 2/2 guy.
Well, he can actually just kill the 2/1 with his hero ability now, and so he's actually going to have a clear board. Yeah.
Really good. That's... Yeah. Wow, Trump is in a really nice spot. The game definitely not over yet, though.
No, not at all. I mean, we're getting into that point where Savjz can get some life gain back. He's got 2 lay on hand, so he's going to have the card draws. But it's still it was such a rough hand starting up for Savjz.
I have to be honest, I don't like that. I think Sword of Justice, attack Golem, make token would have been nice, because that would probably have made him attack the token with the Argus.
Okay.
Because it's the only thing that wouldn't have died to it, which sets up a great Consecrate the next turn.
I could see that.
But okay, I mean that's fine. Zed plays this Novice Engineer.
I feel like he's kind of in.
His hand is so full.
I feel like he's kind of in desperation mode at this point too. Savjz rather, and Acolyte of Pain. Oh man, the minions are moving around. When do you use the Defender now?
Well,
it's terrifying.
I don't know if he's going to need an Aton for a while at least.
Yeah. I mean, at least he's got enough guys you can kind of throw in the middle and see whoever gets it, right?
Now this is a lot of minions out there.
Yeah.
And you could like Guardian of Kings or something, and oh god, look, now the equality's out. Okay, he's gonna lay on hands, but he's doing it against a pretty full board.
Yeah.
And I like lay on hands. If you're somewhere even on boards, it's like the strongest card ever.
Well, he just needs cards.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. It's not ideal, but he's gonna lose a lot of the healthy game this turn, obviously. But it delays things and it allows him to draw. So.
Indeed, but we're on turn 8, and that's what this deck is called. So. The threat of Pyroblast is looming large. The thing is, he has so much heal in his hand. I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is, does he gain board advantage again? And you know what? I would say probably if Trump commits another 2 minions, Equality Avenging Wrath is going to be ridiculously strong.
Yeah. Now I think he's wondering if he can put the Defender of Argus between the 2 creatures he hasn't attacked with and buff them both because things have been moving around. It's an option, and I mean, it would set him up for a kill the next turn, I believe. Never mind.
Well, he has double fireball, so as far as I'm concerned, a kill can happen at any time.
That's the thing is I feel like he may want to just wait for that Mana Worm until he can buff it with fireball too. But, oh no, he's gonna go for it. All right, sure. See, I think if I were him, I'd coin into a Mana Worm and then fireball twice. You know, why not buff it?
I think he's trying to keep his board kind of mid-range, so that using any removal is going to be a hard choice.
Both Consecrates are gone, though. I mean,
that's true.
Yeah, what does he really have to worry about at this point?
There's always Avengings, there's always Equalities, so I guess he's a little bit nervous. And
there is, but
it looks like that is what we're going to see. But
okay.
Well, and I mean, you can't blame him for doing this, but the minions that can be played in the next turn are insane. He has a lot of good stuff in his hand. What? Did he actually not hit that Golem?
What in the world? That was weird.
Oh, okay, no, never mind. Okay, you had a draw.
Oh, okay, the draw,
it's that
right.
little pause. I was
That's
like
right.
staring at the hand of Trump, so I was confused.
I hardly ever see that. I mean, you actually don't see a whole lot of Acolytes of Pain anymore out there, but... Yeah.
Well, I think any mage deck can use it pretty well.
That's really one of the few, yeah.
Okay, so what does he go for here? He's got 9 mana. If he had 10, there'd be a lot more options.
Yep.
I think maybe this
he
plus
does
Thalnos
with the
plus
coin.
Fireball?
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, yeah,
I'd go Thalnos,
right.
and then honestly, you could go Arcane Missiles into Fireball and do
with
11 damage.
Well? Yeah. Because that's 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, he doesn't need the coin. If
he doesn't need the coin, no. But he could do 11 damage this turn and bring him down to 5 health, and then he would also have a pretty buff Mana Worm that you know, has a good chance of getting through. So, yep.
And you know what?
Doesn't need to worry about True Silver Champion because obviously Savjz would take damage too.
Alright, let's see what he does. I think you're probably right on this if he's going to play that Mana Worm. And the thing is, he still has that charge minion in the Argent.
I think
next
that's what
turn he can Argent plus Dark Iron, which is 6 to the head.
Right. I think he's thinking about that too. I mean, I would just go for the guaranteed damage now and put that threat of the Mana Worm out on the board, because then that'll kind of guarantee that you're not going to have to worry about blockers that are going to stop your Argent Commander. But okay, he's just going to throw down his own blockers.
All right. I think that's completely fine.
Okay then.
Alright, so Savjz from here. Let's see. I think for sure he's going to play True Silver this turn to kill the Mana Worm.
Yeah.
That's like a good time to do it. He's got a lot of health.
I mean, the thing is
I think that Sylvanas is a nice play as well.
Yeah. Trump has to be thinking a little bit about a second Lay on Hands being possibly in there as well too. So
I think so few people play that, but Guardian of Kings definitely.
Yeah.
And well, some people have been playing Holy Light.
That's the point. Yeah.
A lot of people have been playing Holy Light as well.
Time for games.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Alright, so he's just going to taunt up this Sylvanas, and that makes it very, very hard to attack into. You don't really want to remove it, because then you're going to lose a minion.
Alright, well, Fireball would take out Sylvanas, but it would give away something. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Sylvanas with taunt is a huge, huge pain. You know,
do you throw your 2 taunts into him?
I don't know. No polymorphs.
Do you just kill him with your minions? I don't know. That might be a choice here for Trump.
Yeah.
He could do that and just charge in for 6 this turn with an Argent. That'd be kind of hard to remove.
He certainly could.
But there is an Aldor in Savjz's hand. Of course, Trump doesn't know that.
I would say maybe you want to consider doing Arcane Missiles here. It's going to buff up your Mana Worm to a 3/4, and then you can kill him with the 3/4 and the 3/3 and keep your Blood Mage Thalnos alive, and you have a chance of maybe reducing it a little bit farther. So I would maybe just toss that out there just to kind of be more efficient about what minions I can keep alive.
Sure.
And then that also saves
the thing
Thalnos
is,
for a higher Fireball.
It's going to steal, right?
Well, it's going to steal something
I might
either
just
way,
trade all 3 minions for that Sylvanas, just eat it, because he's going to draw off the Thalnos anyways.
Yeah.
His hand is still very strong. The thing is, Savjz is starting to come back with this Sylvanas taunt. This is a really gross situation for Trump to have to deal with.
Yeah, I guess you kind of do just have to toss all your creatures at it, don't you?
I can't see a better way, personally. I just do not see a better way. He's not playing the Polymorphs. This is a very aggro deck.
There's no way to do it that's not really a big risk, you know?
Yeah. Gross, man.
Yeah.
It's a taunt Sylvanas.
Yep.
It's a hard thing to deal with. This is where you wish you had a silence, but he's not playing any of those either. And the thing is, he'll have to go through a taunt if he kills it with a fireball. Likely, he'll have to. And I think he's coming to his senses and realizing that this is really the only way option.
You have to just accept, okay, that's a good draw. That's going to make you feel a little bit better about life.
Yeah. Go ahead. Do
Let's
it,
do
Trump. There's not any other way. Sorry, man.
Alright.
Taunt Sylvanas, good card.
There we go. So now 10 mana to do some damage. And it's going to be good old Argent Commander. And then you can go into whatever else you want to from there.
I'd like to see a Dark Iron. Just get another 4/4 on the field. And then, of course, you have this 6/2 with Divine Shield, which is going to be a pain to take out.
I agree.
Weapons and stuff aren't going to be very good against that. Looks like he wants to play board control a bit more, which is actually, I think it's okay, because there's such a high life total from his opponent that you're not used to with Mage.
He's playing, he's playing very, very safe this game, and now he's going to go ahead and buff it up, which at 2 health I'd be a little bit, alright, I don't know about that, because you do have to worry about Hammer of Wrath in there. I mean, we know it's not, but a lot of Paladins still do run 1 Hammer of Wrath, so it's kind of a risk.
There's definitely a lot of Hammer of Wrath that's still floating around.
And Aldor Peacekeeper as well, which we haven't even talked about being in Savjz's hand yet. That'll handle that 6/2 quite nicely.
But he needed to play the 4/4. If you look at the rest of his hand, none of it makes sense to play right now.
I have this feeling that Trump is playing this a little bit too passively, though. Like, that's the impression I've gotten all game, is that he is just, it could be the final game of the series. He really wants to win it, but I think it's causing him to play a little bit overcautiously, in my opinion. I mean, I'm a very aggro-oriented player, so I'm always going to be looking for that option, but I think his chances of winning this game are starting to slip away now.
All right, well, we will see about that. Okay, so I like the Guardian Kings. That gives him nice board presence.
Yeah.
I think he needs to probably knock off the 3/3 with his 4/4. And I would like to see him fireball, actually.
Yeah.
The 5/6 guy.
I feel like you kind of have to at this point. But again, you know, as a mage player, that would make me feel pretty nervous to have to use that fireball, because that's supposed to be like one of your kill moves with this deck. Because
here, I think you have to use it as removal. And
I think so too. Doesn't feel good. But...
Yeah, you know, he can also Argent. Get out there with Argent. He's got double acidic swamp ooze, so that's nice once that True Silver comes down, but right now they're kind of dead.
You know, he also might want to consider a Frost Bolting Savjz this turn too, because he wants to maybe do something to save that 4/4 once it becomes a 4/1 from the possibility of a True Silver Champion or something like that.
Yeah,
so freezing the Paladin on this turn wouldn't be the worst idea ever.
In fact, he could,
Yeah.
There's quite a few choices. Like even doing an Arcane Missiles and seeing how it lands. Like if you get 2 hits on the Aldor, then suddenly math is different. If you get 2 hits on the you know, the Guardian of Kings, the math gets changed a little bit.
And you've got the coin too, so you can still have that 11 mana turn to use on that Arcane Missiles. And the thing is like that Arcane Missiles is not really going to get better as the game goes on. It's going to get worse. So if you see an opportunity where it might help you, I'd say if you're Trump, you absolutely use it right now. Because it's not going to help you anymore, you know, beyond this point.
I guess, yeah, like, I think he has... Does he have any spell power left? Does he play one Azure? I don't think so.
I don't think I saw one in the deck list, no.
And Blood Mage is already gone, so...
Yeah.
Other than that, only Mana Worm would enhance the Arcane Missiles. But if you clear the board, Arcane Missiles becomes quite nice. And that might be what he's going to do here as well.
Alright.
Yeah, he can charge in, and if he wants it just for damage, Arcane Missiles is right, but no, he's going to save it. It's good to add an extra damage or 2 onto minions that you need to kill.
Well, one thing that does feel really good for Trump right now is that he doesn't have to worry about Consecrate because they're both used so early. And 1 Equality is already down too, so at least he can feel pretty confident about just leaving things relatively low health out there. Oh, man, he got the squirrel.
Sniped.
Oh, dude.
That was good.
That was nice. Very nice for Savjz. Now he can get rid of the 4/1. Still be at 14 health.
Okay, I'm pretty happy with where he's at.
Yeah, me too, man. He's got a Lay on Hands coming next turn if he needs it.
Yeah, he can Divine Shield up his 2/2, which makes perfect sense.
He's in great shape.
The Lay on Hands, as long as the board doesn't go grossly into the favor of Trump. Oh, and as I say that...
I know. Grossly in favor of Trump. Well, Sylvanas Windrunner may have something to say about that, but...
Well, that plus Acidic Swamp Ooze is going to be a huge play this turn.
Oh, yeah, of course. And he's just going to Arcane Missiles to get rid of the shield, Oh, no.
Not bad. Can't complain about that one either.
It's okay. I mean, you get rid of the 2/2, but yeah, that's fine.
And he can play the 5, and then he can ping the shield and take out the 2/2. And this gives him a ridiculous board of a 3/2 and a 5/5 going up against 13 life.
Really good turn.
Oh, man.
Oh, okay.
Well, I guess he leaves the 2/2, which is fine. But this is hard for Savjz. What is he going to draw?
Well, I think you got to just play Lay on Hands this time, unless you draw something really good, and I don't think Sword of Justice is going to be it. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I don't know that that's really enough here, man. Okay, so Argent Commander, your 2/2.
Yeah, and then take out the Swamp Ooze, I guess.
This is as best he can do, but this is still a lot of damage on the board for Trump, and Sylvanas is a pain.
You know, we do have Captain Greenskins with Sword of Justice coming. That's not so bad, but still against the Sylvanas. Okay, there we go. Yeah, okay, yeah, I drew the Fire Blast, so...
Finishes with coin in hand. All right, well, Trump!
Who needs coin, I guess?
Trump takes out Savjz.
Yeah, our new King of the Hill champ. Nice.
And there you have it.
Yeah.
Trump, the new King of the Hill. I don't know if we call an upset or not, but I'm going to call an upset. Upsetting Savjz because he won 4 in a row.
Yes, I will call it an upset. And that's not an insult to Trump in the least. That's just saying that for Trump to come in after being known as such an arena player, not as much as a constructed player, and to beat somebody that had not just won before, but won 4 weeks before, that's a bit surprising. So a nice upset victory for Trump, a well-deserved victory as well, and he's our new King of the Hill.
Awesome to see. Of course, a lot of Trump fans out there. A very good player with very solid, strong decks.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be hard to dethrone. You're going to really have to bring in extremely consistent decks and play them very well.
Yep. Well, we'll see what happens next week, guys. It's been a lot of awesome games today. I'm a little bit sad we didn't get to Game 7, but oh well, we got 6 of them, and you can't really ask for much more than that. So, great series.
Yes. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching, and congratulations to Trump. Soon we will announce his next opponent. So
yep,
we'll
that's
see
right.
You then.
Definitely. And also, check out iHeartU.com. Go post on the forums. Thanks also to Simon for making everything look so beautiful on this King of the Hill already. And, yeah, I guess that's about it now.
All right.
So
really done now.
Really for sure.
See you guys next time.